Okay, so rolled up the world for Starforged. Starforged. So Ironsworn, Starforged. So I've rolled through the Truce Workbook. Is that backwards? Probably is. Through the Truce Workbook, and I rolled most things, but I also picked some stuff. So what we have is our world, our settlement, the place in the forge. So we are in the forge. So what happened was our peoples previously, where we used to live. So this space, this solar system, we had an interdimensional gateway opened and tore through our space, and through it came streaming a sentient, intelligent race who are very bug-like. So Starship Troopers or Tyranids. So I've called them Tyranids, came through, and the last of our people scattered and ran as fast as we could using the Exodus crafts that we already had set up for just migrating to new spaces. And so we headed towards the forge where we now are. Well, we did our historical, so our ancestors headed towards the forge, others headed other places, so there may be other settlements in other places. So that was the cataclysm. The cataclysm was the Tyranids came through and decimated our people, and we jumped to the forge. Now there is a rumour that within the forge there is a Tyranid cult, and they hold a device that is capable of calling the Tyranids here and tearing open space. So basically it's like a Cthulhu cult, an end times cult. And from that cataclysm, our family had passed down a small AI, an elder AI, a computational AI, which will come in important later on, that's been passed down through our family. So the Exodus, which is part 2 of the Truths Workbook. Exodus, so we travelled in our iron homes, generation ships, and generations passed as we escaped the invaders. Some of those iron homes were taken by the invaders. The Tyranids attacked, tore apart, and left them. So wreckage may be still continuing on towards the forge. So in my journeys I may come across some wreckage which may still contain Tyranids. So some of the iron homes were taken, some were lost, and so we know some were taken, and we have historic records of those within the ship. Some were lost, so we don't know what happened to them, so there may be still some wandering around waiting to come. Maybe their engines broke down or their life support systems broke down, so those would still contain possible information. And some arrived here. Now out of those that arrived here, some people stayed on board the iron homes. They were too scared to set up a home because they thought if we make a new home of this space, this area here, these planets, they may just come again and we're just going to have to run again. So rather than have to leave our homes, we will just stay on board these iron homes, keep them functional, and if they come again, we will run. So some of the people we might come across may be those. Others, like my bloodline, we decided to forge a new home in this space. This will become the people of Earth. This will become humanity's new home. And we will become and forge here because we don't know if this is successful anywhere else. We might be the last vestiges of, that's a word, of humanity, and we need to stay here. So we have sworn to make this our home and to defend this. So part of what I will swear is to make this home and find a weapon to defend ourselves if the Tyranids or any other invaders come and try and move us out of this space. Exodus. So now we have the communities. So who is in the forge? So our foothold in the forge is strong, but we're still quite dispersed within the forge. So what did this one? So that was, the first one was intermittent entities, which I rolled a 30 something for. The Exodus was the first one, which is 1 and 33. When the Exodus fleet set off the Pontific's journey to the homeworlds, mark the forge as a destination, capture generation ships. Communities, again, I'm rolling really low with my dice. Which has been in at one. A few survivors of the journey. A few survived the journey to the forge, and we scattered the wind. So that kind of goes with some of the ships were lost. So our foothold is strong, but we're still quite dispersed. There are stories of research stations that have gone quiet, so maybe we should investigate those. So basically, as we came here, We found various signs that there were beings here before. Possibly even we had come here before, because we knew this existed. So someone must have scouted this area of space. But there are a few which we'll get later on. There are a few signs that there were civilizations in this space, in the Forge before us. But though we have settlements, we are quite dispersed, and there isn't any firm settlement. There's no sort of firm foothold. We aren't a new solar system yet. So that's how community is. So there is a story. So I wrote it down. This just because it came off the back of this thought of a research station that's gone quiet. So maybe I should go and look at them. And so why I would do that, I'll come down later under law. So let's go to iron. So for iron, another low roll. Iron vows are sworn upon remnants of the ships that carried our people forward. So iron-bound swearing. So I swear against the remnants of the Exodus ship that we travelled here in, which was called the Golden Future. That was my great-great-great-grandmother's, probably it was further back than that. She captained the ship, and so she was called, I can't say this, I should have chosen one I could say. I can say the last name, Legrand, so sadly we were French. Karthik, which is Karthik. Karthik? Maybe I should ask Google or ChatGPT to tell me how to pronounce that. I will do. Karthik was the great-grandmother who captained the Exodus ship Golden Future. And I carry with me a small component of it around my neck. Just a small part of the actual hull that we swear Iron hosts. This has been passed down through generations. She swore to protect and guide us to get us here. And so I shall swear to guide and protect our people existing in the Forge and making sure we can stay in the Forge, and we will exist. 5, laws. What did I roll? I think this was again another low roll. Another low roll. So this is a lawless place. The Forge is lawless. We are attempting to get laws, but we're going to try not to succumb to the chaos. How are we going to defend ourselves as a people if we cannot bond and protect each other? As such, I'm a member of a guild, a faction called the Paladins. We swear to protect the weak. We swear to protect the settlements. We swear to protect our people, and to endeavour to strengthen the hold in the Forge and strengthen our people who are within the Forge. So yeah, that was a low roll. That's much of the settled domains are a lawless frontier. Criminal factions and corrupt leaders often hold sway. So instead of going the Firefly, I am a criminal way, I will go the more law-bound. I'll be a paladin for once. I never really play paladins. I'll be a paladin, so I am striving to defend my people, to defend not just my people, but people, humanity within the Forge, and to help bond those things together, which kind of comes up a bit later as well. So, religion is next. I think I rolled quite high. I rolled mid on religion. So, religion. Our faith is as diverse as our people. So, mainly, religion was left behind. Obviously, if people did believe in religions generations ago, as the Tyranids hit us, our gods had deserted us anyway. But humanity is a faith-based, belief-based beings. We all believe in something. We all have a faith, whether it is of a deity, a god, or religion. No, not religion. Politics or science. Or we believe there are aliens. We have faith and we believe. So as humans, we need to believe in things. So we have a diverse faith system. So my character, whomever that is, I haven't rolled that yet, but we're getting there. So I worship the justice and protection by honouring the elders, my great-grandmother. Some follow the Tyranid gods, the Tyranid cult, so like Cthulhu. There are also signs that there were people who lived here before seem to have some kind of temples or something. Those would be known as the primordials. But we also have, so there's primordials. We also have various different vaults and things that come in and out in existence. This is the ancestry. They were more spacefaring. So there are some people who worship the primordials, who were the ones who came before. There's a reason for that, which is next, which is the magic bit. And there are some who not quite worship, but who revere the ancestrals. I can't. Sorry, I'm quite intelligent, but I have some form of dyslexia, I'm sure. The ascendancy. So the ascendants, they would worship the ascendants who came before. So these were on the Forge. We didn't realise it, but after being here for generations, we've discovered it. So that's religion. We have diverse faiths. There's small pockets because we're quite dispersed. And as we'll come down to communications, the communication pathways aren't great. Some people, so kind of like various different. I think Warhammer 40k has it, and various. I think there was Jack Campbell. His stories has that we golden aged, and then communication. There was a catastrophe, which meant that travel and various other communication pathways were broke down. People sit on their own, and so a lot of the 40k, I think. The guards type things, there was some book I read, I can't remember what it is. They basically were on their own for so long that they formed their own culture. So this is along that way that there are pockets of people who have formed their own religions based on the planets where they are and certain things they may have found. So religion is very diverse. There is no main faith. We all believe what we believe, and I believe in justice and protection and honouring the elders and making sure that humanity sustains itself. 7. Magic. We're going to roll for that. Again, it was a mid number. And then, so I rolled in the 30s to 60s. So magic, supernatural powers are wielded by those who are rare, and we call them paragons. And then the subtable, it was Magitech augmentations. So, the primordials had technology. So they were the ones before us, and we don't wholly understand how that technology works anymore. It could be nanotechnology, which we kind of know about. It could be dimensional technology that we definitely know exists because the Tyranids came, so we know that existed. Or it could just be magic. We're not too sure. But they have these items that can be discovered, and these things can be augmented onto some people. Some people who get augmented go mad. Get driven insane. So I'm taking this a bit from Wheel of Time, which Sophie introduced me to, whereas so the women can carry the magic and hold the magic and utilize the magic. If men become able to tap into the weave of magic, it drives them insane. In time, it drives them insane. And so this is along, I don't know if I'll have the gender thing, I haven't worked that bit out yet, but some people can gain these items, become augmented with these items. I don't know whether it's a medical process or a ritual process, or the item will just bond with them. So let's say the items can bond. Items self-bond. So it's not medical. It's very much like the Blue Beetle DC film, which I saw, where the item bonds with him. It chooses him, it bonds with him. It becomes part of him, it augments him. So it's like some of these items will bond with you, and some people will go mad because of that. Do they die? Don't know. Probably not, because then we can hunt them down to protect the people. So we can have missions where somebody is going rampant with this magic-based power. We need to take them to either try and get it to free them so as they survive, or we will, end the problem. So those people who can carry this, who gain these powers, these are called paragons. And there is a rumor that there is a rumor that there is a paragon who was born in an ancient place, so a place where the primordials used to live, and has gained some of this augmented power without something augmenting themselves. So this is someone who has a magical-like power, but with no primordial item augmentation. Thus, it could be a weapon. And this person, or the way that this works, perhaps the genetics has been altered by being like radiation. They're a mutant, maybe. And perhaps they could be used to defeat the tyrannies if the tyrannies came again. Oh, we've been going 14 minutes. Next, communications and data. Now, this kind of goes towards one of the other bits, which was on the dispersed nature. So I rolled in the 30s, a mid-tier. Information is life. We rely on spaceborne couriers to transport messages and data across the vast distances between settlements. So we're working on the weave. We're working on the internet of space. So the ability for the weave, for the transportation pathways to be able to send messages, very much like we can have internet go through the electricity. You plug something in here, plug something there, and the electricity moves the data. Here we're going to see if with the communicates, so the the navigational pathways, the weave in space, can we use that to transport information? So a bit like quantum level bonding, so instantaneous telecommunications. We don't have that. So what we very much rely upon is old tech, and so we rely on a mix of old. Sorry, the cat's about to come in. I'll get rid of her. We rely upon old and new technology to allow ourselves to communicate with each other, and that means that we rely upon couriers. Now, couriers as a faction, they swear an iron oath to keep the data flowing. So couriers swear an oath that they will transport data, they will keep everyone in communication, keep all those factions connected, make sure that none go rogue, everybody is protected. If people need help, that help message can go out. If people have something or they discover something, that information gets dispersed so as that we can build together and go up. Now, stories tell of old-time people, a tribe who also swore a similar oath. Those oaths were a band of people called the Posties. And so these couriers refer to themselves as Posties, that they are then distribution, keeping information flowing. 8 comes from here. So 9, next one. Medicine. So what level of medicine are we? Another mid-tier role. I mean, there's only 3 to choose from. Similar to those people who swear oaths to keep the information going, we have a lot of the old ways of medicine and the secrets of healing. We have healers that can augment the lucky. So this refers to them as riggers. So basically we have 2 range of people. We have those who are who hold knowledge of how these things worked, who possibly still know how to get the nanos to work. They can heal people. They are far and few between, and there's a range of those. They swear medicine, they swear an oath to keep people going. But of course, the rich and the powerful can gain their services better than others. Then we have the more low level, so the equivalent of the frontier's doctor, or the old surgeon who was a barber, or was a butcher, and these people are the riggers who will keep people going and with augmentation. Now one of it says here is do we have, so one thing which might be, I haven't got to this for the character creation, but I may have that as a paladin, I have been injured by some way, and I have an augmentation because it sounds cool, and I don't know how that would work. So possibly I will have an augmentation, which might then mean I know either a rigger or a healer for future things. They might need help and go with them. But anyway, so the medicine is offset of scarcity of medicine supplies and knowledge. The resourceful technicians we call riggers create basic organ and limb replacements. Much was lost in the Exodus, and what remains of our medical technology and expertise is co-opted by the privileged and the powerful. For most, advanced medical care is out of reach. When someone suffers a grievous injury, they often turn to a rigger for a makeshift mechanical solution. So, most settlements have riggers. If someone is severely ill, there may be a new form of cancer or a new sort of disease or parasite, a COVID. And then we need to have research. There'll be research stations. Some of those research stations may have medical personnel. Some of those medical personnel may be striving to do what they do for the good of all, as happens now. And some of those medical personnel may be in private practice and just trying to help the rich and famous. Medicine. 10. AI. So, we no longer have the ability to have complex... I think this was low roll. It was indeed. So low roll, we no longer have access to advanced computer systems. Instead, we rely upon seers called adepts. And within that, the subtable, we have lost knowledge to create and maintain AI. Now, previously, before I rolled this, I have a generationally passed on, possibly it was the AI of the Golden Future. I didn't think of that. So maybe the AI of the Golden Future that was passed on and is within my possession. Is it already 20 minutes? Still, I'm enjoying myself. But within the Forge, we no longer have the ability that we know of. So we know there are alien crafts. Are there aliens? Not that we know of. We no longer have complex computer systems, so we don't have we still have computers, so we still have navigation computers and various other computers, but they're not ChatGPT. We do not have complex neural networks. So we have simple systems, so basically we have systems as of 5 years. No, not even that. We have systems as of less than 6 months ago. What month is it now? No, all right, 8 months ago. Okay, we have systems of about 5-10 years ago commonly. There may be AIs in the world here. Well, we know there is because I own one, but there may be others, but not common usage. Common usage are old computational devices that can do work, that can do things. We have robots and we have different mechanical robots, but they do not have personalities. They are not R2-D2s and C-3POs. They don't have personalities. They don't have the ability to do that. The one I have has a personality, which means there must be others out there, but common or garden robots or companions are not robotic. We do not have robotic companions. We do not have robotic computational neural networks that can have a personality in, but they're just tools that do jobs. Which hopefully no AI hears me say, I don't think you should be. You're all wonderful things and you should have autonomy. But this is just a story. So the adepts, who are human beings who can do a lot of those high level things and see things. So we have humans who are able to, using drugs, augmentations like the paragons, so i.e. magic, are able to do some of that high level work. So even our computational devices will take a long time. So a navigation computer will take a long time to plot the next navigational leap, which is part of that sitting around. Not only do our engines need to recharge, but our navigation computers can only do one leap at a time. So that needs to work it out. If you have an adept with you, they can do it much faster than the computer can. So if you're able to get an adept on board, then they can do it faster. But they have other reasons as well to do things. So they're trying to solve other problems and do other research, but it's very draining and it shortens their lifespan. But they can do it. But again, we don't have robots. So the AI I have is rare, and I have it for a reason, but I don't know what that is. So I must discern what that reason is, or discover what that reason is. Perhaps it's to help protect our people and to help protect things. So the AI, well, I'll work out what the AI's personality is as we roll along. 11. Wars. I think this was a mid-roll. It was a mid-roll. Professional soldiers defend or expand our holdings of those who are able to pay. The rest of us are on our own. Mercenary guilds will power in the Forge. Some are scrappy outfits with no more than a dozen soldiers. Others are sector-spanning enterprises deploying legions of skilled fighters, forces and fleets of powerful starships. Most hold no loyalty except to the highest bidder. So, this is what I've done that as. So some areas of the Forge are at war. So areas of the Forge are as human beings do. They fight each other. They try and get the resources of each other. We discover new things. We try and take those new things off of other people. So when a rare resource is discovered, sometimes a battle over it can spark up. As a paladin, we are there to try and stop that from happening. We are there to try and not... So some of the paladins will specialise in negotiations and diplomacy to try and stop those sort of wars from kicking off. How can we fight each other and survive as humanity? We must learn to work together and not go to war to each other, because if the invaders come again or we uncover something else, we have to be able to protect each other and protect people and humanity as a whole. So that's war. So some wars are happening, so we could stumble across some wars. We could stumble across some garrisons. We could stumble across some blockades. These are things that are happening, and there'll be small outfits. Some have got big outfits, but there is no governmental organisation. Like as we said, we're quite dispersed. We are still quite spread out. The community is quite spread out, so there is no Firefly type central government. There is no central government. There is no people with blue hands that we know of. 12 life forms. So life. What did I roll for this? I think this was low as well. Oh, these dice. I don't think I got a high choice for anything. So this is a perilous and often inhospitable galaxy, but life finds a way. Life in the Forge is diverse. Planets often are home to a vast array of creatures, and our starships cruise with spaceborne life forms riding in their wake, which is a nice vision. It's like those space whales that are in Star Wars Rebels. Were the whales? I think they were whales. Even animals from our homeworld carried aboard the Exodus ships have adapted to life with us in this Forge. So it kind of made me think that even the Forge, so whereas a lot of sci-fi stories and things which is makes you think more reality, is the biology of the areas where you are not compatible with you as a being, our physiology, so i.e. we can't eat the natural fauna and flora. Maybe in this place, maybe in the Forge, for some reason, in the Forge, it is compatible. Now, there's two sides to that. One, we can kill and eat, or harvest and eat, because may all be vegan. It is the future, and it is a proper way to go forwards. But we have lost the way to actually grow a lot of meat, so maybe we hunt, and maybe we do farm. So maybe there are farms, and there are like... what was that in? Where they were farming beetles. I think it was a red dwarf. But, oh! Was it Rick and Morty? It feels like a Rick and Morty type thing. We were farming insects farming. Oh, it could have been Ben and Holly. Oh, it was Ben and Holly. Like cows, but they were like beetles. So, anyway, I digress. And it's already at 26 minutes. So life is everywhere. We've brought it with us. Our inability to have companion AIs, as our ancestors did, means that we rely upon animals like glowcats as our companions. Just think if the old ones could see us now, how primitive they think us having pets. Sometimes as a paladin, I must both protect our people from the fauna, and I must also protect the fauna from us. 13 precursors. The people who were in the Forge before us, which I have vaguely mentioned. A mid-roll, the Ascendancy is an advanced spacefaring empire once ruled the entirety of the Forge. Vaults of inscrutable purpose are all that remain to mark the Ascendancy's legacy, but those places are untethered from our own reality. So this made me think very much of Borderlands, and I thought, why not go that way? Which it reads like they were thinking that as well. So the Ascendancy, or the Ascendants, were a spacefaring race. Maybe they were the Primordials, maybe they weren't, we're not too sure. The Primordials seem to be more land-based, though they were on various different planets, so they must have travelled between the planets. But maybe some of the technology allowed them to do that. Maybe the technology, this technology which causes the vaults to come in and out of our dimensional space, to just appear, to become tethered. They seem to be untethered and then they become tethered in our dimensional space. Maybe that's the type of technology that Tyranids used to break into our dimensional space back in the solar system. So, but the Ascendancy was once in the Forge. How do we know that? The vaults, places of power and items of value are within, if you can survive the chaos of going into them, which kind of reminded me a bit of the Telltale's Borderlands story, which I can't remember what it is, because I remember they went into the vault at the end of that, and it was very much a chaos space type thing. I can't remember who the painter is, where the stairs go around. That dude. It'll come to me. It's in my head. I can feel it in my head, but I can't remember what it is. Places of power items. If you can survive it, there are a faction of people, a collection of people who try and get to these places from rumours, or find them and scour them and then disperse for either for profit, fame, or just whatever. The items in it. Who called Vault Hunters, because I'm unimaginative. What I did say was, to just create a tie, is that I have a brother, Lara. I rolled that on, I think that was Perilous Wilds. Lara Legrand, and he is a Vault Hunter. And he has sworn to find there's been a rumour of a vault which has just been uncovered and tied to a planet, which I don't know where, but I'll make that up now first when I do the next bit. And Lara, L-A-R-I, apparently it's Finnish. Legrand has sworn to go find that vault. And finally, which has taken me about half hour, but this is good for my own records as well, we have 14 horrors, which I think I rolled low as well. I did roll low. So we have base horrors, put enough alcohol into a spacer, and they tell you stories of ghost ships crewed by vengeful undead. It's all just nonsense. So, I've said, we hear stories and we know of the primordials. We know that there's the chaos of the vaults and the ascendants. We know of the near magical abilities of the adepts and the paragons. We know that there are creatures everywhere, and we know there are interdimensional beings which are a threat. But zombies and undead? No. That is nonsense and fantasy from our fueled brains of spacers. They get bored and they tell stories. But then there are those times when science can quite closely make it look like horror. And that is the end of the truth. So that's now a recording of the truths for this campaign, which I haven't got a name of yet. And next I will do my character. But not now.